Let's move on to the wide receiver position from the AFC NFL draft picks that are going to affect fantasy. First up, obviously, Jamar Chase out of Cincinnati. You and I have been not arguing, having a healthy debate.
Yeah, great conversation.
The past week. Basically, we were going to create an Instagram post saying, is it who's going to score more points? Is it Tyler Boyd?
My thought process was it Tyler Boyd or Jamar Chase?
Yeah. And I'm saying, no, it should be Rashod. It should be, not Rashod. It should be T. Higgins or Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. So there is so much room for interpretation here.
Right.
But essentially, you believe, let's make this really clear because we've not made it clear so far.
Correct.
To make it very clear, you believe that Tyler Boyd will be the second wide receiver from the Bengals for fantasy purposes.
Correct.
I believe T. Higgins will be the second wide receiver for fantasy purposes on this team.
Mm-hmm.
What's your reasoning behind believing in Boyd more than Higgins?
And essentially two simple reasons. One, he is the longest tenure on this team and he will get touches because they trust him. Number two, if we are seeing this correctly, Chase is on the outside, T. Higgins is on the outside, Tyler Boyd is in the slot. I believe Tyler Boyd is going to have more opportunities to get more receptions over T. Higgins. If Chase really is wide receiver one, I don't see T. Higgins getting the opportunity of getting any catches because Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow is going to be looking one for Chase for the deep ball, whatever type of slants, whatever type of routes he's going to run, and then Tyler Boyd is going to be open in the middle almost every time, in my opinion. And T. Higgins is just going to be, hey, I'm here, but just in case you need me.
So you're probably really devaluing, like not disrespectfully, but you're probably lowering Higgins a bunch on your rankings. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's not that he's not talented. I'm just saying you have three alpha. If we really want to put in that scenario, these are three alpha receivers. Yeah. Essentially. Not that these guys are all on the same level, but these guys, I think, all have the same mentality. These guys all want to get touches. But Joe Burrow is going to go to his favorite target, in my opinion, which right now we're all thinking that's going to be Chase.
That's interesting that you say that because last year, beyond like week 3, no one had more targets in this offense of any position than T. Higgins. And that's where I'm leaning on. I'm leaning on, what do we know? Well, we know that Joe Burrow trusts and loves T. Higgins. He's throwing up balls for him down the field. He's making sure that he's in the game plan. For me, I see Higgins as the wide receiver 2, Chase as the wide receiver 1. It wouldn't actually surprise me if at the end of the year, Higgins was the wide receiver 1 on this team. Like, I think it's Chase. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Chase because of that instant connection. But it wouldn't surprise me either if somehow Higgins ended up as the guy. Another thing that wouldn't surprise me, and I'm sorry, Bengal fans, Joe Burrow gets injured. And there's no value really anywhere, unfortunately, because they didn't draft an offensive lineman in the first round. They didn't take Penei Sewell. Okay, but Jamar Chase, let's talk about him. He's obviously the wide receiver 1 in Dynasty. How high are you on Chase in a redraft league, though? Where do you currently sit with Jamar Chase in a redraft PPR league?
Jamar Chase for me is currently my wide receiver 26.
Okay.
I have a couple. Okay. I'll kind of give you an area of who he's above or who he's just below. Maybe I don't know if that kind of gives you a little bit more of a better understanding. So I have Tyler Lockett above him, DJ Moore above him, Brandon Ayuk above him. Thielen, Cooper Kupp above him. I don't know if that it makes sense to the people. Once again, if you want to unlock our rankings, patreon.com/fantasylandfam, you can check it out there.
Yep. Sign up to any tier and you'll get that for free. I have him as my wide receiver 24. So guys above him that would take before him: Kupp, Woods, Moore, Thielen, Deontay. Guys I would take him above: Brandon Ayuk, Tyler Lockett, T. Higgins, Juju, Chase. The list goes on. So interesting to see what will happen. Jaylen Waddle ends up in Miami, and I think he was surprised as much as other people were when he got the call. I think that meme will go down in history of him finding out and just completely.
Apparently, the TV was delayed.
Apparently, but I mean, regardless, he literally found the pick and he's like, "I'm out." His family was celebrating. He's like, "I'm out, deuces." Like, don't talk to me. I'm famous. Obviously, that's not what he's saying. He loves his family. But how do we feel about this? This is hard. This is hard to evaluate because it's hard to evaluate Tua.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to evaluate Jaylen Waddle. I like Jaylen Waddle. I'm just not sure if I love where he landed.
Okay.
I'm just not excited. I'm not someone that's like racing to get Waddle. You know, it was hard to evaluate him. I think I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I gave Tua the benefit of the doubt maybe when evaluating him and putting him in my rankings. I still think I gave him a good valuation.
Yeah.
But it is hard. It is hard to kind of talk about him and kind of see what he's going to do. There's a lot of mouths to feed there. Mike Gesicki, Myles Gaskin, Devontae Parker, Will Fuller.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of mouths to feed. You're right. And it's going to be interesting to see how this storyline plays out over the next 5 years. Because if Jamar Chase is really a star, there's going to be a lot of questions around why did you move down and put yourself out of contention to take Jamar Chase, you know, and if Waddle's just a guy, then there will be those conversations. I feel like it has to work. Waddle's extremely talented. They spent this high of a draft pick for him. I believe that Flores is going to put things together to make sure this works. He's going to put a game plan together, maybe some screens, some easy slants. How do we get this guy in space and let him do his thing?
Right.
Again, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I am not as worried as other people, but there's still a little bit of worry in the back of my mind of, oh man, this could just be a Hollywood Brown.
Honestly, just talking about him, he's going. I can see him moving down 2 spots at the very moment for my fantasy rookie rankings,
which people will have to unlock to find out. But you know what? Well, just to clarify, when I say he could be Hollywood Brown 2.0, I mean this year we just saw. I still think Waddle is way more talented than Hollywood Brown. I'm just saying in the offense,
right?
There's a lot of mouths to feed, and it's hard to see him. I'll say this. There are like 6 guys who I think could finish as a wide receiver 10 and above this year as rookies, right? So they could finish at the top 10. There's like 5 guys who I think could, not will, right? Chase is one of those guys. Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore. I know that's crazy, but like there are a lot of guys who I think could finish in that top 10, could have like a Justin Jefferson type breakout as a rookie.
Right.
I don't think Waddle is amongst those people. So,
I mean, I don't think Waddle is either. There were some names I was like, whoa. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Love that.
Rashod Bateman lands in Baltimore.
Good old Beatty.
And a lot of people aren't hyped about this for fantasy purposes, but I am kind of on the other side of that fence.
Absolutely.
I feel like this is a wide receiver that unlocks a part of Lamar's game that we haven't seen yet. Because let's be real, other than Mark Andrews, who has Lamar Jackson had to throw the ball? You're saying Dez Bryant. Yes, Dez Bryant was also 6,000 years old. So I feel like this could be great for Bateman as a landing spot, but it could be great for you as a fantasy owner because everyone's going to sleep on Rashod Bateman. In Dynasty, in Redraft, in Keeper Leagues, people are going to be sleeping on Rashod, and you're not going to have to spend a lot of value on him. You're going to get him in the later rounds in a redraft league. Personally, I love the fit for Bateman, and I love the help for Lamar. This has raised my bar on Lamar this year. I actually moved him up in my rankings after this wide receiver
You moved Lamar up in your rankings.
I did, yes.
Okay, that's great. Look, I love this fit. I think going into the season or going into the draft, we both said that we love this fit for Rashod Bateman to go to the Baltimore Ravens, and he did land there. You know, if I remember correctly, I also said that I believe they're going to be throwing the ball more because, you know, you either stack the box or you try to stop Lamar. You still can't stop Lamar, but you can stack the box.
Yeah.
So, and none of these receivers are getting separation. So Bateman is coming in. And let's just throw the other guy in the conversation, Jaylen Waddle as well. He also joins the team.
Yeah.
I mean, what does he do right now? We're not sure. But I think these two guys are both great additions to this team. And
yeah,
I think Bateman is going to be the first one that's going to have the instant fantasy impact no matter what. Jaylen Waddle maybe later on in his career. But where do you have Bateman in redrafts?
In a redraft league, I'll quickly say as well that there's already been reports coming out of Baltimore that they do plan to throw the ball a lot more this year. They've already apparently put that within their game plan.
Makes sense.
To expand the passing game. Makes sense because you got an amazing talented wide receiver. He currently sits in redraft leagues as my wide receiver 40. Okay.
Wide receiver 40
for
you.
Guys above him would be Michael Pittman, Laviska Shenault, Curtis Samuel, Jerry Jeudy. Guys below him would be a Will Fuller, a Cortland Sutton, Antonio Brown, Parker, Jarvis Landry. That's kind of where he's sitting for me. How about you?
Wow. I have him 32. And
sheesh.
I love Rashod Bateman. And I think that, you know, I have him high with the anticipation of before that report.
So who's below him?
That report
because
came out.
32 is like high.
I have him over Juju. I have him just over Cortland Sutton, Rondell Moore, T. Higgins, Michael Pittman for me.
Okay.
So,
I mean, the only reason in redrafts I'm more hesitant than you is because I know the roles that these guys have ahead of him.
Right.
So maybe I'm not leaning so much on the upside that you are.
I think this is, I'm 100% leaning on the upside with the anticipation that I've always believed that the Baltimore Ravens were going to open up the playbook and start passing. You're not going to draft, you know, wide receiver in the first round and not open up the playbook. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's happened before, but we believe that is their reasoning, right? So hopefully they do what we think they will.
That's right.
Okay, Elijah Moore is the last guy we should talk about. Obviously taken in the second round by the Jets. Could we see an instant rookie to rookie bond coming into the league together? The first and second picks, first round and a second round pick, similar to Joe Burrow and T. Higgins last year. Could we see that rookie to rookie connection? You trust each other. You're going through your first training camp together. You're going through your first meetings, your first positional meetings together. Could we see a potential rookie brotherhood?
Absolutely. Elijah Moore, he was my favorite wide receiver going into this draft, and now coming out of the draft, he lands with the New York Jets. I was going to say the New York Football Jets, but nope. He lands with the New York Jets.
Put respect on the Jets, New York Football Jets.
I personally think he has, in my opinion, the highest potential to finish higher than any wide receiver in this class besides Jamar Chase. Okay. So that means he finishes as my wide receiver 2 in this rookie draft. Wow. I don't know if you've seen that video of AJ Brown crying to Elijah Moore. Did you see that? Have you seen that?
No,
bro.
No,
you need to watch that. It's on Twitter. AJ Brown was saying that I knew you were special, bro. AJ Brown says to Elijah Moore, he was just like, "You're better than me." He was like, "You are going to be better than me."
We have to draw the line somewhere.
And I was
that's the kind of thing you say to your little brother when you're like, "Yeah, look, you're not really gonna make varsity this year with the basketball team. You're better than me, bro.
No,
you're better than me. Light a fire." Okay, let's draw a line.
I believe
Elijah Moore will not be better than AJ Brown.
Oh, I'm not saying he will be better than AJ Brown. I'm saying that he has potential to be better than him, and I believe it. Elijah Moore is extremely talented. You should see him. He has, in my opinion, one of the best route trees in this. Not the best, but one of the best.
Let me ask you: Are we even sure he's the wide receiver 1 on this team?
In my opinion,
because there's Corey Davis, there's Jamison Crowder.
I personally believe Elijah Moore is going to play the slot potentially, and he will.
What about Crowder then? Where's Crowder?
I think
playing?
Crowder is coming to the end. Whether if Crowder stays for this year, then Elijah Moore shoots down. But a lot of people are talking.
Okay.
I know you specifically are saying, Crowder could be gone in this offseason. He can get cut. If that's the case, Elijah Moore.
I'm actually on the opposite end of that because we've had people DMing us talking about that. I'm on the opposite spectrum. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Crowder gets cut, but I look at it as, is there a better player that could mentor Elijah Moore as far as how to play the slot?
Makes sense.
In the NFL?
It makes sense.
Maybe
so
not.
If that's the case, then I might have to reevaluate. But I'm just going with the projections that he's going to start in the slot, and it would just be an amazing connection.
Okay. Anthony Schwartz, known for his Olympic speed, lands in Cleveland. Real interesting fit here, especially because of how high they drafted him. They drafted him in the 3rd round. We projected him as a 5th onwards round pick. Maybe a guy we didn't even know if he would get drafted. We thought maybe he might be an undrafted free agent guy you sign and he plays on the special teams. Is there value in fantasy? I'm really struggling to see any value in fantasy, if I'm honest.
No, I don't see any value. I think, I don't know the details of Odell or Jarvis's contract, but if both of these guys are gone, let's say next year, let's say one of those guys' contracts is up next year, I think he can fill in the role, but I just have to double check these guys' contract, and then maybe we can have a more in-depth conversation about Anthony Schwartz, but I don't see him playing a massive role besides special teams.
Yeah, agreed. I think in Dynasty he's more relevant, but man, redraft, I don't see value.
Yo, what's good?
What
Thanks
up?
for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch
Now,
it.
You can also subscribe
Right now.
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/fantasylandfam.